Hey guys, so today I'm just doing this super dewy, no makeup look. I just wanted to thank Glossier super quickly for partnering with me for this video and for sending me their new product. I was super hyped when they emailed me for this, and it is these Glossier Halo Scope highlighters. There's two colors, a quartz and a topaz, and they are called quartz and topaz because they actually have quartz and topaz in them. And as someone who actually carries around jewels and crystals and things in her purse on a regular basis, I was so pumped to learn that these actually have crystals in them. So this one is quartz, and this of course is the lighter color. It is for, you know, a natural highlight on lighter skin or a harsher highlight on darker skin tone. So I'll swatch that on my hand for you guys. And the point with these highlighters is they're just very, very dewy and natural. You know, there's no crustiness, there's no dryness. It is just that natural glow, almost from within, but a little extra help. The topaz color, which has a golden topaz, and this is a darker skin tone highlight on the cheekbones, but I like to use this a lot on my lids and on my lips as just like a little bit of an extra glow over my eyeshadow or whatever lip color I have, and it is just that golden color there. As you can see, it is a little bit dark for me to use as a actual highlighter, but it is still light enough to create a beautiful golden glow. So they both have a little stick of oil in the middle there, and then like the glittery part on the outside. And I was really nervous using this at first because I wasn't sure how they would blend together, and as you can see on my hand with the highlights there, they actually blend together really, really beautifully. If you want to see how I create this look, please continue watching. I'm using this Origins Original Skin Serum, and a lot of you have been asking me what my skincare is right now, and I have a skincare video planned down the line. I have a few other videos that are going to come out before it, but this is one of the things that I've been using almost constantly. So I'm just going to put 2 squirts of that all over my face. And putting on moisturizers right before you put on your other makeup is really going to help your foundation go on better and smoother. For primer, I'm going to be using this Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Oil. I know this is just a sample, but I've been using this for a couple of days and I really, really like it. A little bit goes a long way, and it really, really helps with moisturizing, and I have not broken out from it at all. Patting it over my face so that I'm not pulling at my skin. The scent of this is really nice as well. It's very almost tea tree, but that sort of family of earthy scents. For foundation, I'm using my NARS Tinted Moisturizer, and this is in Light 3, and it's the color Groenland. I really like this just because it is a really beautiful moisturizing sheer foundation, and it has SPF in it as well. I do like this over other tinted moisturizers because I'm really, really sensitive to sunscreen, and a lot of times the sunscreen component can make me break out really bad. It's like all those little bumps that you would get all over your face. I get that on almost every other facial product that has sunscreen in it. I am going into my Tarte color correcting palette. I'm going into the yellow color. I'm just going to pat that on under my eyes. And you want to put these on very, very sheerly because you don't want to have a ton of cakey makeup under your eyes. And the reason that I'm using these, even though this is like a no makeup look, is because as long as you use a sheer layer with a little bit of like concealer or tinted moisturizer over the top of it, it really helps to cover imperfections and dark circles or anything else that you may have without having to put on a full coverage foundation. So that is the magic of this. I'm just putting it under my eyes, a little bit of the yellow on the sides of my nose because it tends to get a little bit dark in the creases here. So we're just brightening it up a little bit with the yellow. And then a little bit here on my forehead as well, where you would normally put like the brighter color for contouring. And then going back into that, into the orange color, using my fingertip once again, we're just going to put a little bit under our eyes, just in the darker spots where the dark circles are. Going to this palette again, I'm using these 2 colors here, and I'm just going to mix them together like that and pat them onto my eyelids sort of as a primer. And this is just really going to help cover up any like veins or discoloration on your lids for the like very sheer eyeshadow look that we're going to be doing with this look. So that is all of the color correcting that we're going to do. I'm going to use this dark shade here just to start off the contour. I just want a very little light contour, so I'm just doing little tiny streaks. This really isn't a contour, it's really just like a shading, and then a few dots on the forehead. I'm using the Sigma Flat Kabuki F80 brush, and I'm just going to buff out that contour shade, or the shading shade, whatever you want to call it. Still have like the orange under my eyes, which we will get rid of in a minute. I just wanted to use everything that I was going to use in that palette before I move on to the next thing, so I don't have to go back to it. We're going to move on to concealer. This is the Radiant Creamy Concealer in the color Custard, and I'm just going to use this to put a few dots under my eye. And this is to cover up the orange. I'm just going to pat it out to cover up the orange and to keep it natural. So we're not using a brush or anything that is going to really make it a thick layer under our eyes. To set that, I'm using the Instamark Light Filtering Contour Powder in the color 40 Mirage Filter, and I'm using this yellow color here, and a Sigma Spotlight Duster F37 brush. I'm just going to pat that under my eyes, but just under the eye area here. You don't want to put it on the cheek because you still want to stay dewy there. I'm just going to put a little bit of this in the middle of my forehead as well and just drag it down onto nose a little bit. I'm using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Definer in medium brown. I've literally like completely broken this, and it's Russian roulette every time I take the cap off. Like, oh, is it gonna fall out? Like, oh, is it gonna fall down the sink? Like one of those sorts of things. So we're gonna start out brushing out the brows, just the simple, like typical brow brush out before you do them. To keep this look natural, we're just going to focus on sort of the outer edge of the brow and any like holes that you have. So I have a hole here, so we're going to fill that in, and I'm going to start mid-brow and just drag it down, and then on the top. So just the outer edge there, so you keep it really natural in the inner corner there. And then, of course, I always like to brush my brows out just sort of to help blend it in. I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Clear Brow Gel. I don't know how I always end up just with a little, like, mini size container, but I only ever have the mini sized one. We're just gonna put that on, and I like to brush the front portion up. This is probably one of the absolute easiest eye looks ever. I'm starting off with this NYX matte eyeshadow in the color Lace, medium sweeper E54 brush. I'm just going to put this literally all over the entire eyelid. So I'm using another NYX eyeshadow, and this is the color Day Club. I'm using a Sigma E25 blending brush as well. I'm just going to use this as a very light crease base color, bringing that into the crease there. And then to finish off the eyeshadowy part, I'm using the Glossier Halo Scope in the color Topaz. I have that on my finger there. I'm just going to pat that across my lid. And you see how it's just like a very light golden glossy color. It's very like editorial. Then for a little bit of highlight on the eyes, I'm using the Glossier Halo Scope in the color Quartz, because I can't miss the inner corners of my eyes, and rather than putting like my finger on the whole thing with the oil stick, I'm just putting it on the edge there, and I'm just going to tap a little bit on the inner corner of my eye. I'm going to put a little bit as a brow bone highlight. So that is everything that we're putting on for eyeshadow for the eyes. Super easy, like complete beginner look. Going in with my trusty Kevyn Aucoin lash curler, I'm going to curl my lashes. And you could either stop here with your eyes, or you could use a mascara. I'm using this YSL Volume Effect Mascara. I'm using the color Burgundy because it is an eye-enhancing color for blue and gray eyes. I believe it would look really good for green eyes as well. Now, this mascara is a little bit thicker, so it is going to add a little bit more volume, but I like to accentuate my eyelashes for a natural look. And I'm just going to add that to my top lashes. I'm going to skip bottom lashes today. To finish off the face, I'm going to be using my Becca Beach Tint in the color Guava. This is my go-to natural and like beachy sort of blusher and lip product in one. And just put a little bit on my fingers and dot it along my cheeks and rub it in. And then I like to put a little bit of this on my lips as well, so I'll just put a little bit on my finger, like purse my lips up and pat it on there. And this dries to a really, really beautiful matte finish on the lips as well. But I think today I'm going to put a little bit of highlight on my lips just for a little bit of like plumping shine, you know what I mean? So for my lips, I'm using the Topaz Halo Scope, and using my finger, using the entire thing, I'm just going to rub it on like that. Purse my lips again and just put it in the center there. Just a little bit of that gold tint on the lips. Using the Quartz Halo Scope, I'm going to put a little bit of that sort of on my cupid's bow there. And a little dot just in the middle. And then taking the actual stick now, not using my fingers, although you can use your fingers for this if you want, I'm just going to put that on my cheekbone. And then just using my fingers, I'm just going to pat around the edges to blend it out. I mean, look at that highlight. Looks like those pictures that you see when someone is edited to look more dewy and shiny, but it doesn't necessarily look like they have like a glittery highlighter on. But sometimes you'll see them on like models' Instagrams or celebrities' Instagrams, and they just have this like unearthly glow to them, and that's what this product reminds me of. Because it doesn't have the glitter and it's not flaky. There's nothing sort of like over the top. It just looks like you have that natural glow to you. Yeah, that's it for the face. So I'm just going to take my hair down here. So this is the finished look. I really just wanted to go with something very like ethereal, almost like a wood nymph or a fairy or a mermaid or something. Just their sort of like dewy, natural but not natural look that they would have in my imagination. So that's what I went with today, and I'll see you guys in my next video.